So the first thing to the audience is everybody's seeking to be inspired. You know, something inspires them, and the desire. For us, it was that they invested and came into the center business. You know, and I always called it the woo-woo business because taking care of yourself is something mystical or not in your control, according to the allopathic medical fundamentalist mafia that exists out there. So what inspired you, David? What inspired you to become you?
Well, everything that happened to me, brought me to the person I am now. And it's just a agglomeration of, all the things that I've learned and experienced. But probably that one like
Moment.
moment, yeah, that sort of triggered was a series of things. One, I was living in a family that was economically challenged, and the fourth child, in a family that wanted two. And so we were pretty stretched, and I was a bit of a challenge myself, being on the spectrum before they knew what the spectrum was, and labeled as hyperactive and
Normal.
these other things, and
It was.
given all types of drugs, like amphetamines, literally. They called them crosstops back
At what age was this?
grade school.
So
So
they used dexamethamphetamine because of the so-called hypertensive nature of the personality to calm you down.
yeah, but I was the kid in the class. They said, "Who wants to read?" And my hand was the first one up because I just wanted to talk.
Something, yeah.
Give me a reason to talk. So anyway, my parents had had enough of me. By the time I was like 16, and they
With
asked,
the baby.
yeah, they asked me to to vacate the premises. And so my aunt and uncle, who had heard that was their plan, said to come and live with me. So I got on a plane, and I don't know why this fact always sticks in my head. It snowed in California, Southern California, for the first time in 22 years on the day that I left for the airport.
Yeah, but that's a spiritual
And
marker of it. A spiritual marker
yeah, it was
of a transition in from who you were and where you're going, and that's it's. See, these are the revelatory moments that I hunt for in these conversations, David, because the personal things in a man and a person that makes them commit to where I've watched you come in the development of the products that you've created, and I see friends of mine that are dedicated to them also. Okay, so that doesn't come from the people that I call my friends because they're a bunch of chumps. It comes from they study the person and they watch the integrity and the depth of the person. So I hope it didn't snow all the way to your aunt and uncles.
well, they lived the country life in Northern California, and I was still this city boy. The locals called me LA
Yeah.
because that's just what they called me, the kid from LA. And so LA was a little bit of trouble. And I ditched school one day and came home. I didn't think my aunt and uncle were home. And I don't know what I was going to do. I was just coming home, and the door was locked, and I went around the back. And as I was going around to the back, looked through the window. My aunt was there, and it surprised me she was home. But what was the revelatory moment was she was trying to hold a cup of coffee, and her hand was shaking.
Onset.
So
Onset.
well, she had fast progressing multiple sclerosis, and so
Yeah, because Parkinson's signs is those tendons starting to weak is one of those first signs, and that's when the diagnosis has to come.
well, she had two young boys, my cousins, and soon she left this world. And the doctors, my uncle, he was fairly successful. I mean, for a small town, he had enough money to pay for specialists from Japan and Germany to come, and they both said the same thing. It's the food that she ate. It was the TV dinners. Remember those?
Oh yeah,
Microwave,
microwaved,
and basically it was, my aunt was a really amazing woman. She taught water babies, teaching baby, yeah, and she did all these things. She taught water skiing and snow skiing, and she took people on hikes. But what she didn't want to do would spend her time washing dishes, cooking, and shopping. She thought that was for the previous generation, for her mom's generation, that there were these new,
Devices.
new ways to not have to do all that stuff, and it was called fast food, and she was all for it. And so her cupboards were filled with cans, her freezer was filled with frozen this and frozen that, and she oftentimes just said, "Go to Taco Bell, go talk to the clown." That should have been a sign right there, right? So anyway, I lost my aunt. The woman who saved me took me off the streets, and that put me back where I was, because my uncle was now angry, and he wasn't putting up with my stuff anymore.
Yeah.
Um,
But you can't
and
blame him, though.
can't blame him. And so I was angry because there was this stuff, poison all around us, and it was normalized, and people were dying, and
And
nobody
you were observing
noticed.
this.
And then I read a book by Rachel Carson called Silent Spring, and learned about DDT and all the ways that agricultural chemicals were killing babies and
PCPs.
and all that stuff,
PPCs.
paraquat, yeah. And so all these things were prevalent, and I said, nobody's doing anything about this. And
Okay, was this a conversation between you and your uncle?
conversation between me and God,
Okay,
between
just
me and
checking,
myself.
because where the relationship in your life after that moment of realization, okay, of what they told, the specialist told you that it's what they eat. Okay, did you have that conversation? Was the uncle a eater of the same junk food as everybody? So that means that where is the situation of the two cousins now?
So remember, this was 50 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah. So
when you were an amoeba.
so the bottom line is that I did not suddenly become who I am now. I, in fact, became even wilder in the streets,
Well, that's no. I don't see understanding failure in a family and understanding knowingly killing themselves, and you knowingly knowing them killing themselves. At what age is this?
So I'm now like 16, 17, but
Okay, well, that's just as normal.
I did become a vegetarian though.
Yeah.
That was my response, was okay, just eat plants, eat fruits and vegetables, and just closer to the earth. But little did I know, all those foods were also
Same.
covered in chemicals.
Same.
Different
If you're not
ways.
growing it, and it's not next to the house, forget about it. And then the more organic that you can get it, or the more nanoparticulated construction for fast absorption and electrical conversion, then that's the way you go. Taste of food is wonderful. The meal that I had last night, I wouldn't care if it killed me today. It was so good last night. Okay, and I ate everything I never eat, and I ate some of everything I never eat. But when you get down to it, it's just a machine. It's a body, and it functions certain ways, and it needs certain things, and it has to be happy. And when you put things in it that makes it happy, it releases part of the oxidative stress that most people deal with. So to be 16 years old and now 2 families out, and you were taking responsibility, but listen, you were taking responsibility for your behavior pattern as you're talking to me. Okay, that's honesty and that's integrity. I'm sorry, but that's what it is. He didn't want to put up any more with you, and you went a little crazier, and you became a vegetarian. Well, if you was crazy and on a vegetarian, and you not contemplating your navel, I'm sorry, but your ass is on a downward spiral there, my brother.
Yeah, no, it is definitely, part of what we go through. It's the fire that we go through, and I definitely went through that.
And as you come out on this side of that, was it worth the journey? Did it teach you the lessons? Or what if you could pass on to our audience who want to be in business, who want to heal, and who want to find the kind of balance and love in their life with someone or something to share it with? Okay, so when they're looking at that crisis point as you're becoming you today, was it worth that journey, or how could they help mitigate that?
No, everything is worth, everything happens for a reason, and God doesn't make mistakes. And so, um, right now, the thing that I do and the way that I do it, it's really a product of what I've been through.
So these are the greatest stories. Okay, so let's go with at the point we're 16 to 17 years old, we're going to have fun till you hit probably 25. And if it's after 25, then whatever it is become some kind of controlling operation of you. If you're still a vegetarian, then you being in control of it. So say we're 16 and 17, and it was worth the journey to bring us to where?
So there's always little high points and low points. But if we jump ahead, I
Give
was
me one high point, one low point, then.
okay. I became involved in the whole Mormon game. The whole, and so I was a stockbroker, money manager. In the mid '80s, the stock market crashed.
Yeah.
I was sort of aware that it would, sort of knew that it would. So I
Just so you know.
put my money in the right place, walked away from not Black Friday, Black Monday. I walked away from that looking pretty good. I put that money in the bank and I said, thank you, God. Now what's really next? I flew to the south point of the Big Island. I sat and meditated, did a 3-day fast. And then I came back home, looked in the newspaper, and the first job I saw said the Green Food Corporation looking for a manager. I said, this sounds interesting.
That's great.
So I went to work for a Japanese pharmaceutical company that claimed that they were converting green young sprouts into powder organically, without any binders, without any heat. What they didn't know is I had my own money in the bank, and after years of being told, you can't see the C of A's, you can't see all this, I just sent it out to be tested. And what I learned sort of was the next giant disappointment of my life. I had been lied to. It wasn't
deceived at the same time.
It wasn't pure. It wasn't organic, and it didn't have any living enzymes. And so, just moving ahead quickly, I went to the owner, who was very proud of saying that he was the 100th richest man in the world. I went to the owner and I told him what I had found out, but I also gave him some really good news that after I found that out, I am willing to share with him contacts that I've made over the years.
Yeah, selling his product.
This includes access to kamut, the purest, most ancient grain to grow the purest, most ancient wheatgrass juice. Access to a farm that I had an option to buy in Utah that was 90 foot deep of accumulated topsoil, a dry lake bed with pure organic soil, and a process I had discovered to take and dry food the way he told me he was, without heat.
Yeah.
Right. All these things. So I don't want to bore you with the entire story, but providence is.
Stay a second. I'm appreciating this, okay, and I have to keep it to a certain moment. And I know what my audience needs to hear, and if I hear you saying it, because they are going to have up and downs, and they're going to get stabbed in the back, and the competition to compete with us is coming. Same as with you. Once a solid product's out there, and it's going to be adopted, it's going to be seen, because we're electrical beings and nanoparticulated beings in a perfectly balanced, like as an elixir. Okay, this is what's going to happen. So them hearing the ups and downs in this, David, is good for them. So now that slump and came, and when you offered it, he turned you down
and fired me.
And try to steal it from you. He wrote that stuff down and then got rid of you, and then that forced you to go into business.
Yeah, so I had what I thought was my nest egg for when I was old, and it was set aside, invested, never was going
Oh
to
yeah,
touch it, right?
I did that.
So then I realized that I needed to become what I said that I was
Mhm.
because of this deception that happened to me. So my contract had always been with a great creator and with the work that needs to be done. My people suffer for lack of wisdom, you know? And so I wanted to be,
But by choice,
unfortunately, yes, because
and
people
you know,
haven't learned to listen.
they allow propaganda to create the control of them because that's their choice to do
Because
that.
it's comfortable, because
Yeah,
it's easy.
and it matches what else is going on, but it's freaking killing you, and you're knowing you're killing you. This is where I am at 75 years old. I look at this. I've been crazy, but I've never been this crazy. Never. And I've been through everything. I've been dead so many times, it's like a comedy routine, and I can raise this body from the dead. So I have unique perspectives of how all this works. And I've been a hospice volunteer for 48 years. I live in palliative and end of life care. So people can't come tell me about what all that is and when. I know when it really matters. Okay? So my
Amen.
audience, what our audience is, they need to hear the struggles. They need to hear it so they can relate to what is now a successful company and that they can build theirs, listening to what they've been through. And this is a true story from a man of integrity, and I want them to have it.
Well, it gets interesting now because I had to sell everything I owned and invest my own money so that I could bring what I said I was into what I would be. So I lived for 6.5 years in a tiny warehouse,
Ah, I'm doing it now.
no windows, no kitchen. It had a bathtub only that I rigged in there that I used for everything. And the bottom line is that until I got to a certain point, I refused to use any money for myself. It was all invested into the company. And I started out my first year with just $100,000 in sales. The next year, 240. The third year, about 560. The fourth year, I finally hit $1 million in sales, and I celebrated, but still hadn't made a profit. Still working.
Sure, you're losing money.
But that was the year I got a break, and that break was the National Cancer Institute had done a study, and they created a word called phytochemistry.
Oh, yeah.
And they wrote an article in Inc. magazine that said that phytochemistry was better than any medicine. And they said, Inc. magazine asked, well, who's a phytochemical leader? And they said, me. So I got a big break. They wrote this article. I got to march that article in front of customers and say, look what the National Cancer said about me. So I started making products for about 40, 50 different companies came to me. And all of a sudden, white labeled for everybody. You may or may not remember Gary Knoll in New York. You guys are about the same age, right? Well, he said, I want you to make all my products for me. So, but we know who he is, and we're not going to talk about that. But the bottom line is, when people keep using price as their master instead of quality, then I could no longer do business with them. So in the end, I now make products only for the one company I know that doesn't use price as their master. And that's my own.
But way to go. Okay, so everybody watch another real human being with a desire to be who he is and to exemplify being that, like many of us and many of you have tried and what you're doing in the center program. And there's ups and downs and goods and bads, but look at the joy in this person. Look at his expression and where it is, and knowing that this product is really, really good, then we're going to put you so you can check it out, see if it feels right to you. And when you get a chance to stop for a moment, close your eyes and take a deep breath and send a quiet, loving moment to David from us to him. Thanks, everybody. David, thanks for being here with us this show, and we look forward to setting up some type of study to see how using your product integrates with what we're doing and try to set up some kind of outcome trials to see. Is that okay with you?
Oh, absolutely. The bottom line is that we change human destiny, through epigenetics.
Right.
And we do it every day. And if you're ready to have your destiny changed, if you're ready to have a better tomorrow than yesterday, then come and see us. Come talk to us.
That's what the Anunnaki said. Thank you.
Yeah, the pleasure is mine. Have
Thank
a
you.
blessed and beautiful day.